Our presentation is on IT security, mainly how IT security is changing to keep pace with new cyber threats. Throughout this presentation, it will be Adelina, myself, Jonathan, and Neno. We'll be going over IT security threat measures, governments a target for cyber attacks, financial systems a target for cyber attacks, and individuals a target for cyber attacks.
We will start with short introduction of the main terminology. We will define IT security and cyber attack. IT security is responsible for protecting the technology of a company from cyber attacks and to ensure that the information is kept confidential, reliable, and available to those who are authorized to use it. The vulnerabilities of the IT system may come from several sources derived from the following: hardware problems, software problems, loss and theft of portable devices, disasters, including natural and cost, and accessing networks. So what about the cyber attacks? What is a cyber attack? A cyber attack is a deliberate exploitation of computer systems, technology, dependent enterprises, and networks. Cyber attacks may include any of the following: identity theft, fraud, extortion, malware, pharming, phishing, spamming, spoofing, breaching of access, and so on. Hardware problems are events or situations such as physical breakdown of a computer, configuration error, or damage due to improper use. This type of vulnerability can be easily mitigated with an information backup system. A backup, or the process of backing up, refers to the copying and archiving of computer data to restore the original after a data lost event. The primary purpose is to recover data after it's lost, be it by data deletion or corruption. The secondary purpose of backups is to recover data from an earlier time. Backing up can be also useful in cases of loss or theft of device, vandalism, or natural disasters. Companies use high-volume, high-speed backup systems similar to Carbonite, iCloud, or Google Cloud Storage. Personal backups may be as simple as a CD, DVD, or external hard drive with electronic information that a person might want to preserve. And now we'll talk about software problems. Those pertain to situations in which a software program does not operate as designed. It often leads to the inability to input, display, extract, or store data. In most cases, software problems occur during a change in the IT system, IT installation, for example, installation process, update or removal of unnecessary software. Fairly easy solution is the disk partition, and pretty much what users can do is the hard drive before the partition has a certain size, and it's usually called C drive. Let's say we have an example here with 500 gigabytes, and after the disk partition, the hard drive is split into two hard drives, one which is still called the C drive with only 100 gigabyte size, and this is where you're going to store all of your software, and the second drive is called D drive with about 400 gigabytes, so the total is again 500 gigabyte, but the second drive D includes all of your files. So if the software gets corrupted, or for any other reason you need to format the C drive, you just delete the software on C drive and you keep the information on D. This is how you can protect your information. So far, we've been talking about the vulnerabilities such as hardware problems, software, loss and theft of devices. Now we're going to talk about accessing networks, which is the main part of our report. And we're going to touch two of the main networks that we're using pretty much every day: the internet and LAN networks, also Wi-Fi networks. By definition, the internet is an open network available to everyone, everywhere. Ironically, what makes the internet so useful is also what makes the internet so dangerous: unlimited availability. The network is not only open to everyone for information and business, it is constantly open to attacks from malicious software and hackers. In addition, when an attack occurs on the internet, it spreads quickly due to the immense size and speed of the World Wide Web. Encryption, antivirus software, and firewalls are often deployed, but unfortunately with poor results. Hackers and malicious software have become more elaborate and often breach the IT system. In fact, the 2012 Advanced Threat Report released on April 3, 2013 shows that cyber attacks routinely bypass traditional defenses such as firewalls, next-generation firewalls, IPS, antivirus, and security gateways. Antivirus companies such as Symantec are constantly racing to keep on the forefront ahead of hackers. In 2010, Symantec came up with a totally new weapon in the war against malware: reputation-based security. Reputation-based technology maintains rating for every file executed or downloaded on every participating customer's machine. Unlike regular antivirus software, which scans each file, the reputation-based technology tries to predict if a file is good or bad without using traditional virus signatures, heuristic, or behavioral detection. Another solution for battling accessing networks problems is the crowdsourcing. The crowdsourcing idea that there can be a list of trusted applications and software vendors has been around for over 5 years, but it has limited practical application. The method is heavily criticized that it is not automated, it is not centralized, and itself poses an IT threat. However, many believe that similar unorthodox approaches may soon tip the scale in favor of the antivirus warriors. Wi-Fi transmission is radio frequency based and is easily scanned, leading to a majority of threats. Further, the service set identifiers, so-called SSIDs, broadcast multiple times, increasing the entry points an attacker may use. There are existing IT defense systems. However, they are all optional and rarely used. For example, the wired equivalent privacy, WEP, uses shared password for both users and access point. Experts say that even WEP can be easily penetrated using only a laptop, external antenna, and hacking software. Over the years, the WEP has been replaced by new standards. We now have the WPA, which simulations has proved that the WPA can be it's more reliable than the WEP, but it may be hacked. There is even better standard. It's called WPA2, which is theoretically impossible to break. Cybersecurity is often on the agenda not only for companies and corporations, but also governments, whose role is to set the pace against computer crimes. The war against cyberterrorism is pretty much battled on all fronts. We have a couple of examples here. For example, we have North Korea, Syria, Al-Qaeda, and even China. Here are some reasons why cyberterrorism is so difficult to combat. Computer technology is evolving so quickly that it is hard for security experts to keep up. In some cases, the world is applying digital technologies faster than our ability to understand the security implications and mitigate potential risks. This is James Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence at the Senate Intelligence Committee hearing in March this year, 2013. However, the likelihood of catastrophic attacks on the United States in the near term is low. Second, allegations are difficult to prove. Even if an attack can be linked to a particular country or organization, experts say that US will probably focus on deflecting the cyber attacks rather than proving who did them. Third, the legal frame is not in place, both domestic and international. So what are the measures against international cyber attacks? They're pretty much limited, but some governments start by recognizing the problems and developing plans and scenarios of how to respond during cyber attacks. For example, Seoul, which is of a threat from North Korea, has developed a defense plan which includes the steps of how to mitigate cyber attacks. Some other countries are gathering specialized teams to combat cyber threats. And a good example is in the UK. They have developed a fusion cell which includes experts not only from the government sector but also the private sector, which is often also a target of cyber attacks. And talking about private sector, we're going to switch to banking.
So the financial system as a target of cyber attacks. Although financial institutions are considered to have one of the best network defenses of any industry, they have always been a top target of hackers. The predominant activities of hackers include spreading malware infections, drawing off login credentials of employees and administrative passwords of IT resources, and denial of service attacks that disrupt service to legitimate users. The potential hackers could be terrorist groups that want to put pressure on the government, political extremists willing to damage the financial infrastructure, or a foreign country that wants to damage a nation's economy by ruining its reputation as a viable place of business. I will further present a few examples that illustrate the growing threat of cyber terrorism, which could possibly destabilize an entire financial sector and cost it billions, interfere with its operations and business with customers, and threaten its intellectual property. Although stock exchanges have strong electronic IT security, cyber attacks are very frequent. In 2011, Nasdaq, the largest electronic securities trading market in the US, was hacked. The exchange reported attempted attacks on its communication system, an application called Director Desk, designed to make it easier for public companies to share documents with Nasdaq's directors between board meetings. The hackers either wanted to spy on companies' executives or were looking for ways to monetize their efforts. Nasdaq invested over $1 billion to implement additional security enhancements, advanced encryption standard 256 for data storage, which ensures high security and data encryption, encrypted the backups, customer data segregation, intrusion detection systems that monitors network or system activities for malicious activities, or policy violations that produces reports to management station, extensive integrated logging, and reporting, web application security processes, which include web application firewalls, annual third-party audits. In the same year of 2011, London Stock Exchange, the third largest stock exchange in the world and the largest in Europe, has been hit by malware that infected users' computers in an attempt to persuade them to buying bogus antivirus software. It is thought that the breach of security occurred due to third-party ads being installed in the website. The measures that have been taken were removed ads, no open access to third parties in the future, and more thorough checks. The third cyber attack in the same year on a stock exchange was on Hong Kong Stock Exchange, the fifth largest stock exchange in the world, which experienced denial of service attacks carried on stock exchange's website, depriving investors of important announcements from listed companies. In August 2011, computer hackers forced Hong Kong Stock Exchange's website to crash, and the exchange suspended trading the shares of 7 companies. The measures that they took were they stopped publishing their news on a centralized website. It would rely on commercial information websites like Reuters or Bloomberg to make announcements. They purchased ad space in 8 local newspapers to inform investors where they can find detailed information. Then, cyber attacks on banking systems. Cyber attacks on the biggest US banks, including Bank of America, Citibank, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo, have breached some of the nation's most advanced some of the nation's most advanced computer defenses. These banks reported denial of service attacks, which disrupted their websites by slowing down or even blocking access to consumer-facing websites. The attacks on the US financial industry have resulted in 15 of the largest US banks being offline for a total of 249 hours in the last 2 months. Even though officials argue that there is no impact of the attacks on customer personal information, any event that compromises one of the securities concepts, availability, confidentiality, and integrity, can have complex consequences. This graph shows the anatomy of data breach from Visa, which shows that there is a window of vulnerable transactions when accounts continue to be compromised after fraud is initiated against the merchant.
Individuals are also a target for cyber attacks. More than half of Americans now own smartphones. According to Trends, 1.4 billion smartphones will be in use by the end of 2013 worldwide. Bring your own device is also posing a threat. Bring your own device is becoming a popular trend as it increases employee productivity and reduces IT costs. However, that being said, mobile devices pose a very serious threat. Mobile devices are becoming increasingly targeted for their impact on not only personal information, but also company information as well. Companies such as IBM have even gone as far as banning certain mobile devices and applications for their 400,000 employees. With multiple platforms, IT professionals must be proficient with numerous devices. This can be a pretty daunting task for IT security professionals. Google Wallet, electronic banking, and Apple's Passbook are making cardless financial transactions a way of the future. Mobile malware will now have the ability of stealing financial information, sometimes without worrying about password-protected gates. NFC and RFID tags inserted into the phone make for seamless financial transactions between a phone and payment device. These new technologies, however, now make infections spread much more quickly with bump-and-go capabilities. Hackers will be able to infect one phone and quickly infest a train car of passengers, enabling them access to all patrons' financial assets. Types of malware. Android malware can be broken down into segments based on their actions. Specific malware attaches itself to the infected device in order to retrieve some form of purpose. The main actions malware induces are backdoor actions, SMS actions, spying actions, and downloading actions. Backdoor actions. A backdoor program manages to find holes in security systems and exploit them. They are used to bypass security devices in order to install more malicious software in the future. The main issue is they are hard to detect make a seemingly secure device vulnerable to attacks, and lead to future malicious activity if exploited. SMS actions are referred to also as pickpocketing. These applications take over device controls and submit SMS text messages to numbers that automatically charge fees. All hackers must do is now set up the account, the number, infect devices with the malware, and collect their earnings. This type of attack is especially pertinent as it seems to be the most prevalent amongst actions. Spying actions. Spyware, as it can be inferred, is downloaded with the intentions of spying on user activity. Spyware, like many malware, are downloaded as Trojans and work behind the scenes to unknown to users. Spyware can become extensively malicious because it can record keystroke information, passwords, and credit card information. With BYOD on the rise, spyware is a growing concern with the ability to scan files, emails, and other crucial company information. Lastly, there's downloader actions. Android.Rooter.A was the first malware to appear on the Android market. Derived from rooting or simply jailbreaking, which enabled users to gain access to platforms or systems not available to their carrier. Hackers use this form of malware action in order to control a device and manipulate its usage. They can open secure applications, alter operation systems, and allow access to download further malware applications. These have become growing concerns in their ability to bypass security protections and automatically install and operate mobile devices remotely. Protecting your device from malware. Antivirus applications are critical even for mobile devices. Accurate usage of such assets will allow for the utmost protection from outside threats. IT security as well as technology companies are actively researching and updating virus definition. One should always use caution when downloading applications and follow strict safety procedures like only clicking trusted URLs. According to the mobile threat study conducted by Juniper Networks, 1 in 20 phones were stolen in 2010. As seen in the figure, the number one security entrance was by stolen or lost mobile devices. When phones have been stolen, all the data on the phone can be compromised if not properly controlled. Apple and other devices have made attempts to combat such activity by enabling GPS tracking of lost or stolen phones. Also, with the advancement of the cloud software, it is easy to remotely disable, erase, and secure stolen mobile devices. Apple Support is a good resource for information security for lost or stolen devices. This forum allows a user to quickly and easily allow directions that would render their mobile device useless from a remote location. Many companies are starting to follow suit as preventative measures have been proven to be the best way to handle IT security threats. Social media can now be a target for cyber threats. First, trust is an issue. Studies show that people are more willing to trust people online rather than in person, and they're even more trustful when they are on social media. Hackers exploit this trustfulness by deploying various IT attacks. Secondly, there's a network effect. Social media is increasingly targeted for its size and connectivity of members. This network effect will allow malicious activity to spread much quicker than traditional methods. Thirdly, there's a reputation defacement. Social media poses a rather new threat. Hackers can penetrate members' accounts and spread or display inaccurate or inappropriate information. These types of attacks can quickly destroy an individual or company's reputation if not handled properly. Along with traditional IT security actions, this type of action needs to be handled also from a marketing perspective. Companies or individuals need to have a presence online to ensure their voice is accurate and respectful. Social media has also been breached by hackers. In summer of 2012, LinkedIn was breached and over 6.5 million encrypted passwords were jeopardized. LinkedIn stressed that only a partial percentage of the individual passwords were actually corrupted. In February 2013, Twitter was hacked and 250,000 users were affected. The breach was rather small and attackers only gained a limited amount of consumer information. Twitter advised individuals suspected of being compromised to change their passwords and revoke all session tokens from affected accounts. These types of attacks register red flags for companies with security standards that are not up to par. Minor information was retrieved and suggests for stronger security practice in order to protect against larger, more debilitating attacks. Conclusion: IT security has become an increasingly important sector in global fight against hacking. As this report suggests, the forefront of global terrorism is very much fought on digital battlegrounds. Hackers can attack many international institutions to disrupt or interfere with national stability. Financially, cyber criminals can attack large organizations, companies, or even individuals. The threat of malicious software or activities is an ever-growing concern, and future IT professionals are going to have to remain diligent and the attack against digital criminals. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching our presentation. Don't forget to read the whole report.